Oh, we
Too bad.
might have something here. I hope.
Big fan of AEW though. For sure.
You would think everybody is, but
In fact, I got my AEW hat on right now. So.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
oh, please work. Please work. Please work.
What do you say?
Now streaming
Please work.
live.
Give me a fucking picture. There we are. All right.
Wow.
All right. This is fucking great. It actually worked. Entertainment public. Viewers. Wow. Okay. I think we're in. Good. Now I gotta share it.
Are we on Facebook or YouTube?
We're on YouTube, so I'm sharing the link to the to Top Rope at least
Please.
because I couldn't get Facebook to work worth a shit. So
Okay.
I'll paste this link in. You gonna work? Thank you.
God damn.
I'm so sorry, guys.
That is what it is.
Internet, I
it
mean,
in.
social media is shitting all over me today.
No, it happens.
This crap.
It's that bullying on social media. It's everywhere.
Max here.
Hey Mac, what's going on, man? We'll be going in a second now. Jesus fucking Christ. So I can close some stuff and keep up with the comments at the same time. Just in case. You never know. Somebody might have something interesting. That one can be All right, we'll go here and keep. And then I will be ready to go, I promise.
So close.
And queued up.
Don't say that about me. I'm right here, man. Like whatever. Atlanta's been talking to you. Yeah.
Oh God! All right, we're finally ready to go.
Excellent.
Brucey, do you want me to do the introductions?
Yeah, you can do it.
All right, fuck it. Let me hit record and get this shit going. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to Top Rope Wrestling Talk, and on a good night too. Even though Facebook doesn't want to work with us and social media took shit on us and everything is going wrong, we're not going to let it stop us because we've got a great show planned for you. And I am joined, of course, by the First Lady of Top Rope, Grandma Wendy herself.
Viva la raza! If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
And, of course, the man with the majestic beard who thinks he's better than everybody, the MJF Mark, Brucey.
I'm better than you.
Yes, I am.
And he knows it.
Yes, I do.
And, of course, you know me. I'm your boy, the producer, the soundboard god, the jack of all trades, the master of absolutely none. I'm Dom.
Hey, damn, that's a cold ass honky.
And now on to somebody who really matters. Our special guest, who we've been trying to get on through hurricanes and all kinds of extra COVID bullshit. The man who has been on the PWI Top 500 list twice. the man who has won men and women's championships in a 19-year pro wrestling career, the man who is now a trainer, a showrunner, a comedian, even a fellow YouTube creator, the all-nighter, my man, Shooter Storm.
All night long. All night long. All night.
How are you tonight, my friend? It's so good to have you on. We've been waiting for this. I'm extremely excited.
Yeah, man, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. I do appreciate it. That entrance music was pretty good. I'd say it was my favorite entrance theme, but I think "It's Raining Men" was probably the best one I ever came out to. But yeah, man, I'm happy to be back here. It's technology's evolved since the last time I was on your show, so
Oh,
it's
leaps and
pretty.
bounds, man. Leaps and
Yeah,
bounds. I
yeah.
think
I
when you
didn't
were, I think when
evolve
you
with
first came on, it might have been right before Fight for the Mind 3.
Okay. Yep. That
And we
was
and we talked
2017.
and we promoted it, yeah, like 2017,
Yeah.
and we were just, yeah, that we definitely didn't have all this,
No.
and Brucey wasn't trying to hide his face so that the bad people wouldn't come get him.
Hiding
Fair
in the
enough.
shadows.
Right, all up in the shadows. But it's so good to actually be able to see you, to have you, to get. We've got all kinds of questions for you, and I think we should. I should be a gentleman and let Grandma Wendy kick us off with the first question, if she doesn't mind.
All
No,
right.
you can go ahead. You can start first. I'm not even sure what's happening anymore.
It was that big long social media snafu. I understand. Okay. Well, I guess we could start here because it's going to lead into the next question. For those that don't know, as I said on your intro, you were a women's champion. Tell us how Shooterella Storm came to be, and where the idea came from, where it led. Because it's a great story. If people don't know it, it's very funny. I'd love
Yeah.
for everybody to know what I already do.
We'll start out by saying it's my sister, Shooterella. She is the sister of Shooter Storm. She, when she was young, she had a lot of issues, and one of those issues was she grew a beard. And every time she tried to shave it, it just kept getting bigger. But yeah, that character was something that I think really put me on the map. Like as far as a guy or girl that they were going to use, pretty frequently. And it was created by, well, the idea and the concept was created by Sin Bodhi, who people probably remember as Kazarni in the WWE.
Yes.
And he had just started dating Miss Kitty at the time, I believe. So,
Oh.
anyways, yeah, that's when they started to get together, him and Stacy. And I ended up, he booked me because he saw me work for this company in Florida. It was called ACW, American Combat Wrestling, and that was based out of Newport Richey, Florida. They're still going to this day. But they ran out of a nightclub in Newport Richey on Bourbon Street. And it was every Tuesday night. So there were storylines, there were drunk people, rowdy wrestling fans. And I just came out, did my gimmick that I had been doing for a few years, the largest man in pro wrestling. And obviously you can tell. And
Oh yeah, definitely.
I went in and just let people know what the obvious was. And I guess Sin Bodhi really took a liking to me and my character. So he ran these events, CCW, I believe, and they were in they were in Florida for the most part. I know. Trying to think of what it was. It's called CCW. So I don't know what the letters stand for. I can't remember, but they ran out of St. Petersburg, Florida, Tampa, Florida, that area. So he started booking me, and he used me as the largest man thing. And then after a while, he came up with this wonderful idea that Shooter should be in a dress. So the very first time that I main evented in Florida was under the Shooterella gimmick. It was Colt Cabana, and Stacy Carter teaming against myself and Sean Spears. So Sean Spears is the one that basically got me introduced the Shooterella character. And he came in the back and I didn't want to go out. So he like dragged me out there in that, and people loved it. So we had a really, really good match. I'll say Sean Spears is probably the most underrated wrestler I would say probably in the world still. And he has been since the early 2000s. Guy's incredible. And Cabana's just so much fun to work with. You know, I do some comedy stuff, quite obviously. And Cabana was just really awesome to work with. So we, you know, and Miss Kitty didn't have to do much of anything. She just had to be Miss Kitty. And that was basically how that was. And that's how Shooterella came to be. And Shooterella got booked all the time. Like I was doing sometimes 4 shows a week, mostly 3 shows a week, but sometimes 4, sometimes 5. It all depended. It was like I had a full-time wrestling gig, but just without the big money contract, right? So it was awesome. Like I had a really good time with it. It was awkward when I went dress shopping and things. And, you know, I'm going to tell you a story that happened at the time. Now, Vito LaGrasso, Big Vito, you know,
Yeah.
Big Vito, you know, him and I we've had a love-hate relationship for a lot of years, you know. We love each other. We hate each other. We love to hate each other. We hate to love each other. It was just a big smorgasbord of stuff. And so Vito, if you've ever talked to Vito, he's probably the most eccentric person you'll ever talk to in your entire life. So he got really mad at me. I had caught wind that he was pissed that I stole his gimmick when I didn't come anywhere near stealing his gimmick, considering he was the toughest man to ever wear a dress and I was a girl. So those are 2 different characters. That's like me getting mad at somebody else because they wore spandex. Like it's not a thing, you know? So like, we did a match down in St. Petersburg and I knew shit was going to go funny because of the way Vito acted that day. It was myself and Dr. Stevie Richards against Vito LaGrasso and Awesome Kong with Leva Bates as the referee. So it was star-studded, and then me, you know. But we went out there, but before we went out, I was like, all right, Vito, what do you want to do? He goes, I'll just call it out there. And I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. Here we go.
Yeah, right.
I said, all right, all I'm asking you is to be careful with my neck. I just broke it last year. You know, at that point, it was 11 years ago. I broke my neck. So it was like a year later. And he's like, yeah. So he didn't really take good care of me. He actually gave me his impaled DDT for the finish. And like, I'm little. I mean, I'm big, but like I'm light. So he picked me up and, you know, boom, head planted me right into the ground. And I was like, motherfucker. And I used those exact words at the time, motherfucker. And not to mention that happened. And then Kong came off the second rope of the splash, right? So at that point, I completely lost my asshole. I don't know where it went. I don't know if it ended up in my throat, my ears. I don't know. But
Miami.
I got it back eventually, you know, but at that point, I wasn't aware if I was going to get it back or not. So that happened. So Stevie, we get in the back and Stevie pulls me aside and he goes, don't get angry. He goes, I know how you can get Shooter. Just don't get mad. He goes, just pull him aside and talk to him. He didn't have to be that way out there. So me being me, he came in the back and all shit went crazy. And I mean, this was like something you would see in like a movie sequence. It was ridiculous. Like now when I play it back in my head, the whole thing's crazy. We have Vito and I, one grown man and 1/3 of a grown man standing with across from each other, face to face, arguing, wearing a dress, both of us, right? So picture that first. Then, and I said, I told you not to fucking take liberties with me out there with, you know, we've been friends for a long time and now you're fucking, you know, like now you're getting this big head. Like, Jesus, dude. You know, we started going and So I can't remember exactly how it. Oh, he slapped me. He slapped me across the face, which is a better visual because two men in dresses and I get slapped. So I lunge towards him. Jesse Neal comes flying from around a corner somewhere to go after Vito. John Cruz, who's now Serpentico, he grabbed the back of the tights or the jeans of Jesse Neal and pulled him back so he didn't get in on it. Then, I mean, it was just it was like an all out brawl, but like the only thing that got in was me trying to jump at him and him slapping me first, right? So then I went and sat down, and I remember Spears came up and was like, "That's the reason that motherfucker doesn't have a job anymore," you know? And I mean, it was just a heated thing. Those two are friends. There's nothing an issue with them now. Obviously, this is 10 years ago, but at the time, it was just uncalled for, all of it, right? It was just ridiculously stupid. And that was on a Saturday night. So show's over. We go back wherever the hell we were going. And then Tuesday, we had another event in the same area-ish. It was back to Newport Richie. And Vito would usually roll around with the guys beforehand in the ring. And I come walking in, I got my bag, and I'm rolling in. And he's like, "Hey, Shooter." And I'm like, "Fuck, here we go." I'm like, "Yeah, Vito." He's like, "Come on in here." So I get in the ring and like gives me a big apology and gives me a hug, told me we've been friends for years and he's sorry that he was unprofessional and da-da-da. And next thing you know, he's giving me tips on how to wear my dress, which dresses to get, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, wrestling is
Okay,
wrestling's
so
bizarre.
he tried to basically kill you, and then he gave you tips.
Yeah, then he gave me tips after on how to wear a dress. And if anybody out there is interested in wearing a dress and you don't know which are the most comfortable and the most easy to wrestle in, I will tell you, sundresses are the best because they do tie behind the neck and it gives you room to move around. So there's that. So in case anybody wanted to know, there it is.
That's good advice from Shooterella. Yeah, even while you're telling the story, we got a comment. Jose asked, "Bruh, how are you alive?"
Yeah. Well, that's a question I've been asking myself for a long time. Started at birth. I was an abortion escapee, you know what I mean? So, no, that's not true. My mom didn't try to kill me. But yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. I'm still kicking though, barely, but I'm here.
I hear you, dude. All right, so now that we've got that out of the way, I think we wanted to bring that up so Wendy could ask you a nice question that came up recently in wrestling. Kind of have you shoot on another storm, if you don't mind. Wendy, do you go ahead and drop it on him?
We started talking a little bit about it momentarily before we started the recording, didn't we? About what Lance Storm said about intergender wrestling and how if women are uncomfortable doing it, then they shouldn't be done, period. Just what are your thoughts on that? Like, do you agree with him? Do you disagree?
You know, that's like a very layered, I have to give a very layered answer because I'm a huge Lance Storm fan. That's why I have the last name Storm, was because I was one of the Storm 108 guys from his old website, right? That was his thing, Storm 108. And so I took that last name. And so I really like Lance Storm. I mean, personality wise, I didn't take after him, attribute wise, you know what I mean? But, or in ring even. I don't do anything he does, but I liked him anyways. And so when him coming with that comment, I think there's a lot of different ways to look at it. Like, I was doing intergender wrestling before intergender wrestling's cool. You know what I mean? And
fact,
I honestly feel like I was one of the first people to do it back when I was doing it, you know, on like a stage like that. And I guess it all depends. I believe if the women aren't comfortable doing it, then they shouldn't do it. But it should be their prerogative because and then of course you get people like your Cornette and all these other people that their brains are stuck in 1987, which mind you, I loved wrestling in the 80s. But just like everything evolves. If we didn't evolve, I feel like it is the equivalent of still running a business with just a cash register and no internet. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
things evolve, and you gotta, the athletes have evolved. This, that, just everything. So I've always been a firm believer that in wrestling, when you go to a show, even just a casual fan, someone that doesn't go very often, there should be something for everyone on the event. Something where everyone can be like, oh, well, I like that part. And then another person say, I like that part. And then this one say, like, I don't believe everybody should be in the same shape. I think that's like WWE 2004-ish. Everybody was Randy Orton. You know what I mean? Like every single person looked like Randy Orton.
Yep.
And I love Randy Orton. And I think Randy Orton is a perfect Randy Orton. But I don't want 12 Randy Ortons. That's like, all they did was hire underwear models basically and turned them into wrestlers. You know? I'm surprised I didn't get a call then. I don't get it.
No, I mean, it's like when.
yeah.
Oh, did I cut in on you? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I mean, that's I don't want to give like a blah answer, but I feel like you should be able to make that decision for yourself. If a female doesn't feel comfortable wrestling a male, I don't think she should have to. I think Tessa Blanchard winning the Impact title was awesome because it was groundbreaking. And it was something that like nobody's done before. And let's be fair, besides my girl, I think if I were to fight another girl, I would want not only my girl, but Tessa Blanchard on my side too, because they're both, big, jacked, and beastly. You know what I mean? And I feel like if anybody could beat a guy, it would absolutely be Tessa. Now, when I saw like intergender matches with Tessa and Brian Cage, they were they made it look hard hitting and believable, but in all reality, Brian Cage would just mosquito her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's I guess like her and Sami Callihan. I love that because Sami Callihan is incredible and can make anything work.
Pretty much.
I reffed one of his matches back in. I worked Joey Janela's Spring Break in Florida, WrestleMania 30, whatever won the Hardys returned at, the one in Orlando.
Yeah, that was like 4 years ago.
Yeah, I did some reffing that weekend because I was out injured. So while I was injured, I was refereeing, and I actually really enjoyed reffing, and I got hurt way less. But Sami Callihan was total professional. And it's just fun to work with. And that guy was booked like 900 times that weekend, you know what I mean? All over the place. But I guess, I think I'm getting off topic, of course, because wrestling with ADHD, that's what I do. But Sami Callihan, him and Tessa was more believable to me than Brian Cage and Tessa, if that makes sense. So I guess it all depends. I mean, everybody knows that wrestling is predetermined, right? I think everybody's got that now.
It's not real.
Yeah, well,
No way.
It's a bad four-letter F word. I believe it is. I don't believe it's fake. I know this for a fact. Fake doesn't break your neck. Fake doesn't tear both of your shoulders. Doesn't tear your pec. Doesn't tear your bicep. Which did all of those things besides my neck in one day. So that's pro wrestling. And I think there needs to be something for everyone, like I said. And I feel like you could have a midget match. You can have a big heavyweight match. You can have a cruiserweight match. You can have an intergender match. Something where everyone is, it's 2020. Women are just as equal as men now. I believe that 100%. And they do a lot of things better than the guys. And I see a lot of women wrestlers out there now that are much better than some of the male talent, So, again, it's sorry for the shitty answer, but that's the best I can come up with.
Oh, no, I love it. You're basically saying
intervene
what we
for a
said.
moment. I think Lance Storm was coming from the place of the speaking out movement. A lot of the women were saying that they were put in situations that they were uncomfortable, and they felt like if they said no, there was going to be repercussions. And I think that Storm was saying.
Okay, so if you want to get on
I think if I may, without being interrupted, I think that's why he was saying that it shouldn't be allowed. Like I think it should be. And I won't agree that it shouldn't be allowed, but I do feel that unfortunately in a lot of businesses in general, especially predominantly male businesses, women are put in situations where if we say no, there are repercussions. And I think that's mostly where he's coming from, really.
Yeah. And okay, so the reason I didn't mean to like cut you off, I just got anger all of a sudden, and I have no filter, so everything just flew out of my face. If you're talking about Joey Ryan, fuck him. I think Joey Ryan is a fucking pedophile. I think Joey Ryan is a fucking a joke as a human being. And when I don't know why I wasted 59 minutes of my life watching his apology, which all he did was blame every victim. That's all he did the entire time. And as a guy who, myself and my fiance, we actually just recently caught a child predator. It went online. I put it live on Facebook at 751,000 views. All right. Wow. And we caught this guy that was going to meet up with a 16-year-old boy. He was 38. I was a 16-year-old boy, and I confronted him, and it was online, and it was good. So for somebody, because of my past, because of stuff that's happened in my past, my family's past, things of that nature, friends of mine, whatever, I'm fully against these guys that take advantage of young people because of our power, because of a place of power. So when you look at Joey Ryan, which I'm pretty sure that's who you were talking about originally, because okay, if you have one possible like complaint against you, or maybe two, you're still in trouble. When you got 19 of them, motherfuck. Yeah, good chances are that you're disgusting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
I don't think Lance Storm was talking about Joey Ryan. I think he was talking in a more generic sense.
Really? Okay. You can genericize something, perfect, right? But deep down in his mind, he was thinking Joey Ryan, because that's all over the place. And Joey Ryan, I hope he has to work at McDonald's, and I hope somebody recognizes him at McDonald's and gets him fired from there too, because he's disgusting, and he was grooming these girls since they were young. That's what he would do. He would groom them, then he would book them when they turned 18 so he could do whatever he wanted to do. I think Joey Ryan is a scumbag, and if I saw him again ever face to face, I would tell him he's a scumbag. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we all would.
That's good. All right.
I think we all would at that point. Yeah, I mean, even Monday when I saw like Shayna Baszler show up on Raw Underground, I thought, are they actually going to let her fight men? Because that would have been awesome. That might actually have been worthwhile.
Shayna and Ronda will kill people. Absolutely. Yeah. There's a difference between a bar fighter and a trained professional fighter, right? And those two are legitimate. Katie loves Shayna Baszler. I think in a little different way. I'm not aware, but I'm pretty sure she loves her. And Ronda, I've always been a fan of Ronda, and Ronda's her absolute favorite as well. Those two, I think they're in a whole different category when it comes to men versus women, because I think she could probably take 40-50% of the male locker room in an actual fight. You know what I mean? Like, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think those two are a whole different cup of tea, so.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now shifting gears a little bit, because we brought it up just quick at the beginning of the show.
Way to get me angry and then try to calm me down. Good.
A little bit. Let's try to find something a little more soothing, and then maybe we'll get into something else that gets you angry, just so you don't storm off.
Appreciate you.
Like I said, the last time we had a show with you, we were going in to fight for the Mind 3, and now we're up to, would be up to 6 at this point. And I know it was coming. Is it 5?
I think we had, let me try to think real quick. We did 3, then I did 4 with Bagwell. And that
with Buff.
We did that one, which he was great. Buff was awesome to work with.
That was a great match.
To this day, yeah, we had a fun little tag match, and that was my first match in a year at that point from injury. So I didn't even know if I knew how to bump anymore, but I figured it out. And that was a pretty good show. Not a great draw. It was only like probably 250, and that's because there was a snowstorm, right? So huge snowstorm, of course, where we live. And so a lot of people couldn't make it or whatever, but we still drew 250, which I guess isn't a bad indie crowd. However, I'm like a perfectionist, so I get upset because I do a lot of heavy promoting. So I get kind of upset when it's any lower than like 6. You know what I mean? So the third one, the one you guys talked to me about last time, we drew, I think, close to 700.
Nice.
So yeah,
Wow.
that was a good one. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I know we would be getting to that time of the year where we'd be getting another one, but
Absolutely.
I'm
We did 5 in
guessing
December.
right.
The 5th one we did in December, that was with Shane Douglas. And he randomly brought Dominic DiNucci with him, which was cool. And he randomly brought Virgil with him, which was totally
God, Virgil.
That you had to get that fuck money, you know. And
right.
that was awesome. I see Virgil, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Yeah, so yeah.
What are we gonna do with this guy? You know?
Yeah, and all he did was sell his pictures. That was basically it. Because I didn't want him to try to work me for a payday. You know what I mean? Because it's Virgil, and that's what he tries to do. I'm freshly off AEW Dynamite. Did you see me? Yes, I did. You can definitely sell your pictures, Virgil.
Yeah, so obviously with pandemic being the way that it is there any hope of getting it in, you know, around the same time, or is it just put off until this all blows over? Like,
well, here's the thing. Her and I, we own a pro wrestling school. So where I'm the trainer at there. So we have our ring, we have everything, you know. We have to get our New York State athletic, the whole licensing and everything done again for next year. And we plan to not do anything until probably 2021 because of this, because you can't make plans because it's just gonna, you know, WWE wanted people back in seats in July. Now, then it was August. Now it's September. You know what I mean? So it's just everything gets getting pushed back. And honestly, I think we're about ready to get shut down again. They're going to shut down everything one more time during the fall because there's going to be another giant outbreak because people just can't fucking stay inside for like just a while and not breathe on each other. You know what I mean? Like just lock down everything for 2 months, lock it down, clean the whole environment, and then start doing things again. You know what I mean? But I don't want to book something and then have to cancel it because of that. I've only had to cancel once and I never canceled. I just postponed it. You know what I mean? And I want to keep with that track record and not have to waste, I think, you know?
Yeah, it's a shame too with COVID and all because that show's always been a little personal to me. You know, I know you came up with it because of your mom and Alzheimer's.
I remember that.
And I just had my father pass away in March from complications due to Alzheimer's. So
sorry about that, man. Sucks.
they're
in a better place though, man. They remember everything now. They know what they're doing now. They're back to where they were when they were their happiest, you know, and that's really what matters. And I firmly believe that. I obviously doing paranormal investigating. I definitely believe there's another side to the, you know, to where we go. This isn't at the end. I feel this is just a physical body that we're in now. I got stuck with this shitty one, but yeah, it's a physical body. And then they ended up putting, you get a spirit inside that, and that's what you work with. And then afterwards, you do whatever. I don't know, but I know that there is an afterlife. Absolutely, with not a religious thing or anything. I just know there's an afterlife, and people go on and they continue to see the people out there. Like, you know, your father, he's probably sitting right next to you right now. You know what I mean? So. I mean, a little bit. I mean, it's absolutely. Thinking about it is horrifying, but then it's kind of good too, you know.
No, it's comforting at least, you know. At least they're not suffering anymore because watching that happen is just no.
Yeah, it sucks. It's awful.
It sucks.
Yeah,
they
have no idea, and they have no idea what's happening. They don't know, and they wouldn't want to be seen like that, you know.
No,
I know my mom for sure hated being seen like that. You know, she was very proper, just like me, and so I think, you know, your dad's in a better spot.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Doesn't make it any easier, but it's, you know.
No, it definitely helps. It definitely helps, you know, because just seeing him at the end, it was like he was already gone. So I was kind of thankful. You know, it was like just let him go, you know, and be with my
Absolutely.
mom, who you know passed away a couple of years ago too. So it's like,
Yeah, I
okay,
remember
at
that
least
as well.
they're happy
Yeah,
somewhere. That's
yeah,
cool. Um,
yeah.
but the other thing that I have to ask you about, because I've never had the opportunity to ask anyone this question before, because nobody that we've ever had on this show actually got a chance to work with WWE before. And
Oh,
you got yourself on, you know, into a visit to WWE during like a pay per view weekend where
yeah.
you were on for the pay per view, stuck around for Raw, and even had a segment on Monday Night Raw, if I'm not mistaken.
It was at the pay per view.
Oh, was it at the pay per view? I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Okay,
it was that Money in the Bank. Yeah.
my bad.
Um,
It was at Money at the Bank, and we actually have the footage of it. If you give me
oh,
1 second
excellent.
here, we're gonna
Excellent.
we're gonna fire this bad boy up and show you Shooter Storm's WWE pay per view debut.
There I am right there. Oh wait. Yeah,
Not yet.
yeah, I'm getting there.
There he is.
Oh man, look at that guy.
Look at that monster of a man. Braun Strowman is quaking right now. That's why he ran away. See, there he
Yeah,
goes.
he was scared. He was scared. He realized who he was holding, and
He
he
was
was like, "What?"
terrified, honestly.
Yeah, he absolutely was. Um, well, so what do you got for questions for that?
So just what was the whole experience like being backstage, you know, working with these guys? Did you get to meet Vince? Like what was the atmosphere like? I have so many because I've never ever been able to interview anyone who's had WWE experience, and you had that right after we spoke to you. So it was like, oh, but
Yeah,
please
yeah.
share with
Well,
us the experience of being in a WWE arena behind the scenes, you know, in with the guys, Vince, if you met him, whatever. Just
okay,
go
yeah.
nuts.
That's what I do. I'll go nuts. All right. So
Perfect
I don't know
question.
if you know, but years ago, I mean, this story I beat into it was like a dead horse or whatever. But 2006, I had a tryout with WWE for the role of Hornswoggle. That was back in 2006. And they flew me to the Kemper Arena that time in Kansas City, same place where Owen died. So that was kind of a surreal thing. And back then, the locker rooms, like obviously the extra locker room. I think I was in a washer and dryer room. I was in like the laundry area, and that was a good experience. Everybody was super cool, very nice, very hands on. You know, like Vince walked up to me that day and was like, "Hello, Vince McMahon," and I was like, yeah, but I was like, "Nice to meet you, sir. Thank you for all you've done." He goes, "Are you going to be my leprechaun?" And that whole deal. And I said, "I hope so." And well, I wasn't, but
Yeah.
so that was in '06. So that was only like 5 years after I got into business, right? So now you
Right.
fast forward to 2019, and I I kept in contact with John Cohn, who he's the head of talent relations. Like he books the extras and all that stuff. So he got a hold of me and he said, "I want to book you for Money in the Bank in Hartford, Connecticut. I want to book you in Albany, New York for Raw, and then SmackDown in Providence, Rhode Island." I said, "Okay, that sounds great." So I had to go to the doctors and they had to give me like an HIV and a hepatitis test and all that. So good news, I don't have any of those things.
It's like, holy shit,
Um,
I'm okay.
I know I'm clean. Wow, amazing. So I went and I'm trying to remember. Okay, so the day that we went down, the first day I went down, I was going to be carpooling with Shane Alden, who owns World of Hurt Wrestling out of Schenectady, New York. And I was also a guy named Justin Cade is what he wrestled under. Justin Rando's his real name. And he picked me up at a certain destination down somewhere in New York. I don't remember. And on the way there, we stopped because there was an indie show, Immortal Championship Wrestling. Him and I went out. I did a promo. He got laid out, and then we left. And then ended up going to Massachusetts And then the next day, left early morning and got to Hartford for what I think call time was 11, something like that. So 11 or noon. And walked, so got to the XL Arena, I think it's called in Hartford. I'm almost positive XL. And got there, did our, walked in. You had to fill out all this paperwork or bring this, and we had to bring it with us. So dropped our paperwork off. I got to see a couple other guys. Chico Adams, who actually is on, you see him on WWE all the time now, like as an extra. He's the guy that got beat in the Raw Underground, the first one, the blonde guy with the spiked hair that got beat up by that really giant guy. And so he's from Florida. He's the guy that beat me for my Florida heavyweight title after 15 months. So he was there as well as an extra. So, they said, go change into your shorts. So I didn't bring shorts. I got dress clothes and my tights, a bunch of tights. So I just put on a random pair of tights. And we went and had to do a physical. And I will tell you now, I bullshitted my way through the physical because everything hurt, but I didn't want to say anything. And I'll get to that after. I'll just say real quick, I have torn labrums, torn rotators in both. I have a torn pec, and I have a torn bicep. Right, so all that shit's torn, but I didn't say anything because I wanted to. I just wanted to be there and get the experience,
Right.
So, now I hear people a lot of times complain, make fun of people for never being on TV and doing catering. Well, it's okay. Catering's fucking amazing. Their catering is delicious. I just want to throw that out there. Catering is delicious. So
good to know.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, so I'm in catering and I'm eating with a couple of the other extras, and I look up and I see Dreamer walking in, right? And Dreamer and I are like very close friends. And he comes all the way over to me, and I'm like, "What are you here? Just eat catering, you fat bitch?" And he laughed. He's like, "You son of fuck off!" And but he was there. I think he was there to just eat catering because it wasn't far from where he lived. Now, as far as how it was a lot different. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry that I'm chewing tobacco. It's just something that I do. As far as the way it was, it's a lot different than it was in 06. Because 06, it was very hands-on. You could talk to people, no problem. Now it's very, okay, extras, get away, go here. And then during the day, we sit in the, up in the crowd or whatever, like not in the crowd, but nobody's there. We just sit in the first deck of the bleachers watching the guys go over their spots or whatever. And, so we watched them go over the ladder matches and things like that. So that was cool to be able to do that. And I got to see people that I hadn't seen in a long time that actually we were able to talk to, like just whoever, like Jeff Jarrett, who I've been friends with for a long time. And I was super happy to be able to see him. I was able to see Lindsay Dorado, who I used to wrestle in quite a bit down in Florida. And, just those guys, being able to see people like that was really cool. But it was Jonathan Coachman. It was good to see him again. And Coach. Yeah. Doc Gallows. And I don't know. I never knew Carl Anderson, but I knew Doc Gallows. He used to sleep on my couch in Orlando.
Oh, wow.
When he worked for TNA the first time. And so I got to see a lot of the people, Bobby Roode, that's another guy that I knew for a long time. So that part was very cool. And it's I don't know how to fucking explain it. Like, it was very, I had a very good time. And but after like the second day, like third day rolls around, I'm like, holy fuck. Like, I'm full of catering and I'm kind of like, I don't know. When I was younger, like in 06, I said I could have done that every single day, been on the road every day. And, and then I did that later on the indies, but I wanted to be contracted. It was my ultimate dream was to be in WWE. And I thought I could always do it. And then I realized afterwards that, like, after those 3 days, I was like, oh man, I don't want to do this. Holy shit, my battery's at 15%, heads up.
Right.
Yeah. Shit. and I don't have an actual charger that works with it. I have to set it on one of those charger things, but I'm still going to be able to figure this out.
Double row.
So I'll tell you how it went down with getting the spot with Braun. I had no idea until 5 minutes before. So if that says anything to you, how bum rush things are now, but it's like Hollywood there. It's like everything is, hurry up to wait, hurry up to wait, hurry up to wait. And so I was down in catering, and I was so excited to eat this piece of cherry pie that was right in front of me. It was so delicious looking, right? And then all of a sudden I went to cut into it, and like I had 3 of the extras run down and tell me that John Cohn needed me down at the other side. So I'm like, all right. So left my cherry pie. It was not there when I returned. That's upsetting. But I ran to the other end, and when I'm running by, I saw Strowman like spraying his hair, and he had his gear on, and I was like, he doesn't have a match tonight, so this is gonna be what I have to do. And so I go down, and John Cohn's like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "Good." He goes, I go, "Is Braun Strowman beat me up?" He said, "Yeah, kinda." And I said, "All right." He goes, I go, what are we doing? He's like, well, I'm gonna have him pick you up and put you against like a semi truck or whatever. And I'm like, pick me up or like Kevin Nash, Rey Mysterio, lawn dart me into the thing.
No,
Yeah.
bad idea.
I would have done it, but I would have been a little bit more nervous. He's like, "No, not bad. Just pick you up and hold you there," because he was looking for Sami Zayn. So I happened to be in his way, so he asked me, where he was. So then Bruce Pritchard came over, and Bruce Pritchard directed my segment, which was cool. Brother love, right? So I did that segment. He came up to me after, shook my hand, said even better than I expected. So I was like, all right, that's good. So got done with that, and then they told me you can't be on camera anymore tonight. So make sure you just lay away from where the camera is, because you've already been beat up, basically.
Yeah, laid out,
yeah. And so yeah, that was that. Then Monday we didn't do anything Monday. We were gonna be coming out with No Way Jose doing the conga line deal.
Yeah, you were gonna be in the conga line?
We were gonna be in the conga line, and I had brought like hot pink fucking like clothes and everything. I would have stood out like a sore thumb, right? But
I was gonna ask, did you have a sundress?
I didn't bring my sundress with me. That was the one thing I forgot to bring. But I had everything else. It was like Mr. Dress Up's tickle trunk, just full of shit. And but yeah, so I was supposed to be doing the Congo line thing, but they pulled it because that was the first night the 24/7 title was revealed. Mick Foley introduced it.
Oh yeah.
And because of that, all he did was run out. He didn't have his Congo people doing anything. So nothing that night. And then the third day at SmackDown, I got to have a match in ring before the doors opened. So
wow.
It was good until the end. Like literally the whole match was good. It was only like 5 minutes, but it was good. I only had like 1 or 2 moves left to do. And I fucking dude put his knee in my back, and he took my arms, right? So do the thing. That's fine if you're working. Like work it. But then he literally pulled my arms back, and I felt everything just go, and my left arm just went numb, completely numb.
Oh.
And I was like, fuck. So, and I knew I was hurt, and I tried to continue, but they wouldn't let me. I only had 1 more. I was just going to do a crucifix pin. That's all I had left. And I couldn't because of the arm. And it's my nerves. I have nerve problems in my neck, and I have it all and up and down every which way. So that sucked. But it was cool to get in the ring. I remember the first thing was, on the Indies, you're in an 18-foot or a 16-foot. WWE is a 20-foot ring. So I went to the collar and elbow with the dude, and he's backing me into the corner. I said, "What am I, on a fucking treadmill?" As I'm going, I'm like, "Where's the turnbuckle? Am I gonna get there anytime soon?" Like, it's so much bigger, And it was crazy. Like, I hit the ropes, and I had to like literally take. I felt like I took 50 steps to get there. I was like, holy
Right.
Moses. And but yeah, I mean, it was good. Finn Balor was very cool. He came up to me to make sure I was okay like 3 times in the locker room. So like he was very cool about it. And I mean, I've been dropped in my head a lot over the years, so I don't. My memory's not the best, but I remember certain things. You know what I mean? Like certain things
Oh,
about
yeah.
that. Like Alexa Bliss, she was super cool to me. Probably because we're the same size. I don't know. And yeah, Nikki Cross was cool as shit. And my fiance loves Nikki Cross, so I told Nikki Cross, and she was happy to hear that and was like all like bubbly about it. So yeah, I mean everybody for the most part. I mean nobody treated me bad, if that's the thing, you know. But you could see a lot of people didn't love being there. I guess it was one of those things where people just look like whatever, you know.
Yeah, you
And
definitely hear that when they leave, you know? So-
yeah, they didn't. Not a lot of people looked like happy. Like EC3 didn't look happy at all.
No.
He just didn't look like he cared to be there. And I get it. The guy's talented as shit, and then they don't do anything with him. See, but I will say that AEW has like brought a new drive and a new passion for me. I believe because
Yeah.
like it's a thing that I don't know. They give a shit about their guys. They care about what's going on. They don't. They're bringing in virtual unknowns and making stars out of them, and that's what needs to be done. You know, and I just think that they're very cool. And I knew the Young Bucks from when they were in TNA. I lived in Orlando, like I said, and I lived literally across the hall from a buddy of mine, and the Bucks used to stay there. So
Oh,
I
wow.
used to chill with them quite a bit. So, I knew them, and then I knew them at Ring of Honor when I did the Ring of Honor thing in 2014. So like and cute like I don't think if this was off camera earlier, but QT Marshall is a good close friend of mine. So and I'm not one of those guys that was his friend just when he got brought up to AEW.
Right.
Him and I used to talk all the time about wrestling figures. That was our thing. Like we love action figures, and we just used to talk about our toy feds we used to have back in the day, and this and that. So him and I have been in contact ever since. We used to do shows together, and I still talk to him all the time. He has me send him stuff, and he sends it over to Chris Daniels, who's the head of talent relations. So like I'm not expecting to get hired anytime this year, right? And I'm not expecting to get hired ever, but I'm going to try really hard to get at least my foot in the door and show them what I can do. That's all whether it be with my character, and then I got my fiance Atlantis as my bodyguard because she's like 4 inches taller than me and jacked. So she's my bodyguard. And then if for whatever reason the doctor tells me I can't wrestle after he does the next MRI, then I'm gonna try to go in as a manager and still have her as my bodyguard. You know what I mean? Like I'm a
That would
coward,
be cool.
like manager for hire type thing. I already thought of a possible name. My name was probably gonna be Eric Sean, and I work hard. Always works hard for you. Get it, Eric Sean? Erection when you say it really fast. I don't know. I thought about that the other night. Like a week
got
ago.
him.
I'm like, I like it. I think I could use that, but who knows? I'm a talker, as you guys probably had no idea.
I can see.
So-
yeah, I knew that already.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the way down to 15%
But,
on my phone. How does that work?
So, since you've already brought up the topic of AEW, it kind of leads into my question, and kind of gonna quote your tweet that you put out.
Yeah.
It was actually your tweet on your birthday. Where you basically, in a way, said, your dream match is against Jericho.
Yeah.
And he answered back and says, you never know. Do you think with AEW and where he's at in the company that you and him could have that match there?
I believe it more now than I would if he was in WWE. I don't try to get my hopes up or put all my eggs in one basket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
fuck, I'd wrestle Sonny Kiss. I don't care. Just I want to make it work there, right? But Jericho is my dream opponent. I'm a Jericho mark through and through. I have no problem admitting it, none at all. And my dream opponent, if I could wrestle anybody, it would have been Shawn Michaels. But obviously, Michaels isn't wrestling anymore. So I got to wrestle Marty Jannetty, if that means anything. Yeah. And so.
Wow,
Michael's
you wrestled my stepdad. I'm kidding.
Wait, what is it? Oh God. Never what I was about to ask. Yeah. So.
No, my mom had a huge crush on Marty Jannetty, so everybody used to call him my stepdad.
Oh, I thought it was because of the stuff that's going around. Oh, forget it.
Because we both made men disappear, but that's beside the point.
Well, there might be that. Yeah. Especially drug deals gone bad, right? Michaels was the guy, but then like Jericho, he's been in the top 3 favorite wrestlers forever. I've watched him, change his gimmick so many times.
Yeah.
And it's always at the right time. He does it when he needs to do it, and he just reinvents himself. And to me, anything that guy touches turns to gold.
Absolutely.
So if he body slams me, maybe I'll turn gold. You know what I mean? I think him and I could have some good promo stuff against each other. The back and forth promo rants. Yeah. And then in ring, he doesn't do the flippity flops. I've never been a flippity flop guy. I enjoy watching it, but I don't put my helicopter wings on before I get in the ring. So I'm more old school. That's how I was trained. Now, if it comes down to it, and if I need to do that stuff, like my opponent does that, like when I wrestled Lince Dorado or John Cruz, people of that nature, then I'll let them get their stuff in. I'll take it, but they'll work my style at the same time. You know what I mean? We'll just correlate it, where we both are able to work our styles and make it work. And I think Jericho is just so good. We probably wouldn't even have to call anything. It would just be, all right, we'll call it out there. You know what I mean? Because I feel that to be true, and I would love to wrestle him. And I put it out there. You know what I mean? He retweets like mostly all my stuff, and anytime I
know we actually got him to like and retweet one of our tweets through you, and I was like, damn, it's good to know Shooter, because we all love Jericho, and it's the first time he ever responded or noticed us. It was like, oh.
Yeah. Like took a picture of it.
He is great.
Hung it up in your house.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm having that. I'm printing it out and getting it bronzed. Just put it on the wall next to.
Yeah. Now Braun Strowman blocked me on Twitter. I just want to throw that out there.
Did he really?
Yeah, because I called him out like after he put that stupid tweet about get a new line of profession or whatever the fuck he said. Remember when COVID hit?
Oh,
he's like, all these wrestlers asking for money.
Yeah, the whole bashing indie wrestling, basically one tweet.
So I just tweeted him something where I defended what we do. And at the end, I put hashtag, I shouldn't have jumped for you. And within like 10 minutes, he had blocked me.
Wow.
Yeah. That's all
right. You would think a guy like that would have, as big as he is, might have just a little thicker skin.
No. He bitched, and he completely bitched out and just blocked. He did the blocking. So I knew it was a big deal at that point. That's real heat, bro. Oh man, here we go. My phone's down to 5%.
Oh no.
Let me hold tight. Hang on. Let me try something. I'm gonna attempt something here. This is gonna be ridiculous.
Attempt whatever you have to.
Give me 1 second. Give me one.
Well, that just happened.
No right now either, but
no, he's here. Oh, hey, what's up, Dirty Heels?
See me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, yeah. I told you all I have is that the thing there, the little charger, the circle one, because where you put the plug in, something fucked up inside there, and I have no patience to deal with it, so I just did that. Yeah. So now I'm actually holding it up. You could probably see it on the thing. I don't even know, but I'm holding up the thing so that way the battery doesn't die. So,
thank God. But just hang on.
I know. And I think it wouldn't have died if it didn't take 7 hours to get this thing working today.
I'm so sorry, Shooter. I really am. I don't know what the hell was up with Facebook. We were going to go live there. We decided to go live here, and it worked out. But fuck.
Yeah. Hey, I'm
it was
cool with
scary. I didn't think we were going to make it. Speaking of scary, though, I think.
And you told me it was like gravy. You sent me
I did. It usually is. Of course, I had to go and jinx the whole damn thing. I'm so sorry.
That was gravy cooking in the crock pot, bro. That's
yeah, that took some time.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of scary situations, I know Wendy had a question about your investigations. I want to kick it to her to get that going because this is another one of those topics I can't wait to hear the answer. Go ahead, Grandma.
Give me a moment to look through my notes.
She's so meticulous. You gotta love
I'm very unprepared right now.
Unprepared Grandma.
What's the scariest place you've investigated so far? Like you do the investigations and all that. Like what's been the weirdest experiences you've had?
Well, there's been a few. The one that was really crazy recently was actually at a cemetery here in town, and it was a Jewish cemetery, right? So like there's people in there. It was like from the 1800s. So I don't think anybody's been buried there during in the last, I'd say 120, 130 years. So these people have been, hold on just 1 second. I'm worthy. I just got to figure. Okay. So it's not charging. Hang tight. Work with me.
Oh,
come on. Sit on there, motherfucker. I'm just cussing. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if that works. Okay. So I'm going to set it down. Like so. Right on. Thanks for being patient. And I'm going to lean over it like this.
Oh, no problem, dude.
Here we are. Okay. So don't look up my nose. It's weird. I just realized I could see up my nose. It's so strange. So yeah, we went to the cemetery and it was Katie and myself, which is Atlantis. I switch your name around sometimes. So we went over there and we have a spirit box. I don't know if you're aware of what a spirit box is, but we definitely have one of those. And we spoke, we turned it on and we spoke with, people there. And I knew it was legit because you guys know I'm bald. It came through and called me a Nazi. Right. So to me, I was like, oh man, I got to get the fuck out of here. I am not a Nazi at all. And they think I am. Someone called me a Nazi through the spirit box. So I'm like, oh no, they're going to hate because I'm bald. Like clearly they were from the 1800s because they don't, you know what I mean? Or 1900s or, like 1930, 1940, whatever. And I was like, oh my God. Like I got nervous, right? Like I was like, I have none of those things at all. Like, so don't attach yourself to me, please. And, we said we were getting ready to leave. When we said we're getting ready to leave, something touched Katie's knee and did this, like a double snap, like, come on, get going, leave. Wow. And she was like, she goes, babe, what the fuck? And this is on camera. Like we have the footage. So we just have to get it going through the channel and it'll be up there. But that was, that part scared the shit out of us. But we didn't run or anything, you know what I mean? What I said at that point was if you leave like a peace offering, I don't know if you know how that goes, but you can leave like something for them when you leave and it kind of leaves you in a good graces or whatever. And so I left them a couple dollars. So I leave the $2 there and it comes through the spirit box. Good. I'm broke. And that shit was like when you hear the EVPs and things like that, there are things that wouldn't just come out of nowhere. Yeah. You know what I mean? You wouldn't get that. And, we've always been into like the paranormal stuff. Like her and I went to school together, but I had curly red hair, so I wasn't getting laid. Right. And so I've made up for it. So now, like, back then I would go and do these paranormal investigations and I didn't realize, but she was also doing them just with a different group of people. And so we decided, hey, let's do this together. And sure enough, we do. And there's some scary stuff. I'll tell you another one that was really crazy. We went, her old house she used to live in was really haunted. It was haunted badly. And it was next door to a cemetery. So that's why it was so haunted. That street has had like at least 3 suicides on it just in the last 10 years. So it's there's a lot of shit going on there, whether it be, demonic or whatever. There's just some crazy stuff that goes on there. So she hadn't been down there since she lived there. So her and I, we went and oh, your beard got in the way. I couldn't see myself. And so we went down that road. We got halfway down it and we just felt this dread, this awful feeling of just death, dread. It wasn't okay. So she's like, babe, I don't want to be here. I was like, yeah, no, me neither. So we turn around and we start walking, and we walk back down, and we're going to go to this other cemetery that's notoriously haunted. And as we walked around the corner, it was so weird. We looked, there's all grass. And I went to go, I told her to get on the inside of me instead of being on the outside because I didn't want her close to the road. And out of nowhere, I literally fell and sprained my ankle, and a car came about 2 inches from running over my head.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that was the end of that day. We decided that might be a hint to not do this today. And then,
Right.
Yeah, it's a pretty good hint.
Yeah, I'm like, man, babe, well, first off, I couldn't walk well. So I'm like, that was stupid. We should have just drove, but trying to be healthy and stuff, and
Right.
so we go, I don't know if you guys have heard of Rando Nautica. Have you guys heard of that at all?
No.
It's randonauting. It's a YouTube thing that a lot of the YouTubers are doing. It's based on, what the fuck is it based on? It's based on like, I'm trying to think of the word that they use all the time. It's like Jesus Christ. Like you manifest an idea in your head, and quantum physics, maybe something like that. Quantum physics, I think is what it's called. Anyways, you in your mind, you think of something, like you manifest an idea in your head. Like say you manifest a haunted object, right? Something of that nature. Then you go ahead and you hit the button. You hit a button on your Randonautica app, and it brings up a location, and the location is supposed to correlate with what you were thinking in your mind. Right? It's a very strange thing, but it's quantum physics or something, I think is what it's called, and it's supposed to bring you to something that is related to that. So her and I thought haunted, because that's what we do. And we thought haunted or haunted objects. So I look at the map where it's directing us, and it's bringing us literally right to the cemetery that I sprained my ankle at, right? And we didn't say anything out loud. We just thought it in our head. So the microphone isn't hearing you, right? So we're like, what the fuck? So I look, I'm like, this is where it's bringing us, babe. She's like, that's crazy. So we're walking, and she fell straight down and went into a 3-minute seizure. And she doesn't have epilepsy. She just, years ago, her and I are both recovering addicts, right? And I was painkillers, and she was painkillers and benzos. So the benzos are what cause the seizures. But usually she knows when it's coming on, and she'll be able to say, hey, babe, we got to stop. I'm probably going to have a seizure. Well, That day, there was no warning. She just went down, and luckily, I was able to slide in like I was stealing second base, and I was able to get my hand underneath her face, so her head didn't hit. But she went
Wow.
into a 3-minute seizure. Her lips were purple and her eyes stayed wide open. And she stopped. Like, it was like she died. And people, like, it was like nobody out. And then like 25 people just randomly showed up there. And I was pretty hysterical. And long story short, she woke up. There was a cop there, the lady cop. And she goes, Katie goes, "Thank you for being here for me. You know, I don't think I would have made it if it wasn't for Sean." And then she goes, and she has no idea what she's talking about. She doesn't even know where she is. And she goes, you know, I fell all the way up near the hospital and I landed here. We were nowhere near the hospital, but that was over by where we were heading. So that was the last thing she remembered before she fell.
That's fucking scary.
Yeah, man, that whole thing is on tape. The rando nodding, and then all up until like she falls, and you hear her camera crash, and then my phone flew because I obviously went down to catch her. My camera flew, so it was scary as hell. So at that point, we decided no more Randonautica at all. So we're not gonna.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But next year, yeah, now, like I said, she was able to, you know, get it's not here yet, but it will be. We got a drone, things of that nature, for the YouTube channel. So we're able to put together really good videos. We got a GoPro, also a new laptop, a new desktop, because as I told you off camera, we got a Chromebook. Unknowingly, I thought I was getting a laptop because I'm an idiot. And the Chromebook is completely everything that's not a laptop.
Yeah.
Everything, you know, any way you learn how to use a computer, Chromebook tells you to fuck off. It's not the right way.
Right.
So I hate fucking Chromebook.
It's like if I put a keyboard on this tablet, that would be a Chromebook.
Right, exactly. That's all it is. I'd rather have a fucking Kindle. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't get as mad. But it was but what we're gonna do now that we got all these gadgets,
All this
once I
good
learn
stuff.
how to use them, yeah, next year, hopefully once there's some kind of whether they give like a shot to prevent it,
Like a vaccine or something.
Vaccine, yeah, that's the one. No, it's not a vaccine or something. It's a vaccine. I'm just a fucking retard and couldn't figure it out. Right on. Okay, so once there's that, then her and I are gonna go on a haunted tour. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to drive from New York to California, and we're going to stay in all haunted places, whether it be bed and breakfast, whether it be at a hotel, whatever. And we're going to tape all that footage and have that uploaded to the channel, which right now it's called Headlocks and Hauntings. That's what I have it in. However, it's going to change because we do so much other stuff, just random taping, where it might not be a haunted thing. It won't be Randonautica anymore, but it could be me doing a podcast, me, you know, whatever. This will probably go up on there. Just different shit during the day, comedy stuff, whatever the hell. And we're going to put that stuff. So we decided we should change the name to Together with ADHD. I think that's good because we both have ADHD. We're together.
That's pretty good.
And
I
I think
like
that
that.
sounds good, and it'll help. And, you know, I'm going to do stuff, of course, we're going to do stuff on mental health and awareness of that nature as well. So, because that's running prevalent everywhere.
I don't want to sound like a pander monkey, but I have subscribed to Headlocks and Hauntings, and I watch a lot of shooter stuff, and it's great. It's definitely not your typical wrestler's YouTube channel. Like, there's so many different things on it. There's him talking personally. There's him reviewing wrestling shows. There's him telling you stories. There's haunting stuff. There's everything there. So if you haven't subscribed to Headlocks and Hauntings and you're watching this, go do it after the show. After the show.
After the show, and you're like, I don't want to listen to this fucking guy anymore. But also, I believe the and is like the and logo. I feel for Headlocks and Hauntings, I think it's the and logo. I don't think it's the word and or n. But try it all. You'll find it. I don't think anybody else has the name Headlocks and Hauntings. So
ampersand.
What's that?
Ampersand is what it's called.
Ampersand.
Oh, the little N thing.
Yeah.
Ampersand.
Thank you.
That's the thing. An ampersand. Thank you.
Thank you, Grandma. I didn't even know
Appreciate
that.
you. Yes. Otherwise, I would have been like, that little thing, that little logo. I don't know.
The one that looks like a person dragging their ass on the carpet.
Oh yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's an
it really
ampersand.
does. It really does.
Okay, fair enough. Now I'm never gonna look at it the same way again.
No,
Me either. Me either. But it's absolutely perfect.
You're welcome.
That's great.
We're not
Now,
worthy.
I do want to apologize to anybody that's watching. If you don't like the fact that I'm chewing, it's just something that I've done since 2007, and I do it very rare. Only when I'm doing something wrestling related for the most part,
Yeah,
and then I'll throw a dip in. I don't know if it's psychological or what.
That's
just
true. It's just a disgusting habit.
It is. It is. I think I might do it because like I was such a big Shawn Michaels fan, and he's a chewer. Yeah, and you're doing that. I see what you're doing. And
Yeah.
Michaels would dip all the time, but now he's got this new stuff. It's called like Smoky Mountain Fake Chew or something, and it's just it gives you the feeling that you have a dip in your mouth, but
yeah, it's like a nicotine packet that you put in your gum.
And it's no tobacco, and you gotta order them online. So, I haven't tried it yet though, because clearly I'm still doing this. But
should we come back and do like a taste testing of it on the show? Just all right, let's pop it.
Yeah,
in.
we should. You guys ever watched?
Wendy's like, no, I'm not. I'm out.
Yeah, she should. No girl should ever do that.
No, thank you.
I don't know.
It's just disgusting in general.
Yeah, I think it's I probably shouldn't do it, but I don't get the big like red man tobacco and shove it in my side of my face. I don't do that. I just have a little chew, put it down there. Enough of my addictions that I have going on right now. What else we got going on? What else you want to ask me?
Well, I know you already said your style was more old school. During that chat, we had our good fan and friend Felipe ask us what your feelings were on Japanese strong style. I can't really say the word that he called it. Starts with G. But Japanese strong style. What are your feelings on that type of wrestling?
I feel like I think it's great to watch. I feel like I prefer just play fighting in my underwear, and I don't think I need anything to be strong style. I want everything to look, and with me, like I want everything to look like it's connecting, because things will connect, but I also don't want to leave with black eyes and busted lips and, broken jaw. I think the guys that do it are incredible, and it's awesome to watch. Like I watch New Japan at least once a year. I watch Wrestle Kingdom typically. And I think that is awesome style, and I give them all the props in the world, because that stuff is nuts how hard they hit. And even like Asuka, she's still hits that way, and she's in WWE, and she's still like, if I was booked to wrestle her, I'd be like, can we rearrange the card a little bit? Is that okay? Can I get Harvey Whippleman? But it's like that. Like I absolutely respect it. I think it's awesome to watch. And some of the guys I guess in AEW do it.
Is Santina in the building? Because we could do a whole, Santina Shooterella kind of thing.
Here's a funny thing, actually. When I had my first match out for High Spots, right? It was the show. It was put together by Sean Spears, and it was for Kazarni and Stacey Carter's wedding. And it was like their wedding show was up at Brian Knobs Wrestling School in Tampa. And I wrestled a Shooterella there, and Santino was at the show watching. And he literally was taping the entire thing, laughing his ass off the whole time I was in there. And Santino, he was doing the Santana thing at that time too. So he thought it was great.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say he taped it and then he went back and like talked to Vince or something.
No, I don't know. He should have been like, oh, cease and desist. This guy's doing my gimmick. Right. Like, I'll settle down, Vito Jr. But
right.
He was there, and that's a story in its own. But Santino seemed to like it. So, I don't know what Santino can do for me now. Probably nothing, but
probably not.
No, he was entertaining for what he was, and if he had to work, he could work too. He was a good wrestler, I thought.
Yeah, funny as hell.
Oh, hilarious. I mean, Cornette has a different view of him, but
Yeah,
Cornette
well,
has a
we
different
we
view of
always
it.
seem to take the opposite stance of Cornette. Like, even if he said the
Yeah.
sky was blue, we'd be like, nah, fuck it, green.
Yeah. And here's the thing: I listen to his shit all the time because
I
he's
do too.
thoroughly entertaining to listen to. However, I have like personal heat with Cornette a little bit. Um, definitely personal heat because he did fight for the mind too in Murfreesboro, Tennessee,
Yeah.
for me. But he was supposed to come out and do commentary with me during a match, but he got
Yeah.
pissed off because the show was going too long. So he didn't even appear in front of the live crowd. He took his money and he left. And
Oh, that's
yeah,
a dick move.
yeah. And so Jerry Lynn came out and did commentary with me again for a second time. And I was like, where's Cornette? Oh shit. I almost dropped my phone. I said, where's Cornette? And he's like, yeah, he left. I was like, what the fuck? I couldn't just stop commentating and go to the back and try to figure out what was going on. But yeah, he left, and so did Dr. Tom Pritchard. However, the next morning I get a phone call, and it came from 203 area code, which is Connecticut. And so I'm like, there's no way this is WWE because it's Saturday. They're not calling me on a Saturday. So it turned out it was Tom Pritchard. And he said,
Oh,
Sean,
wow.
I want to apologize for just leaving last night. I had to work early this morning. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you your money back through a PayPal. And I said, I appreciate that. I said, keep like 50 of it for gas or whatever, and then just send me the rest. So he did. So him and we're good. Cornette, on the other hand, I'd like to have a visit with him. Just talk to him for a minute.
I don't think you're the only one there. I got to be honest. I think there's a few people that are,
he's-
perturbed by
yeah,
Corny.
He was one of my two favorite managers in history, him and Bobby Heenan. And like they were my two all-time favorites. In fact, I was at Jim Cornette's debut of the WWF. It was in Alexandria Bay, New York, at the Bonnycastle Rec Center, July 25th, 1993. And it was the first Raw ever outside the Manhattan Center. And it was at the Bonnycastle. You guys might remember the event. Cornette debuted. They did the autograph, or not the autograph. They did the contract signing between Luger and Yokozuna for SummerSlam. They also did Doink versus the Macho Man with the Macho Midget.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they had Doink and Dink back then, right? The little
Yeah.
midget clown. Yeah.
Dink wasn't there yet. Dink wasn't there. It was just the Macho Midget who turned out to be Dink afterwards.
Okay,
So,
yes.
I don't know if he turned on Macho Man and joined Doink. I don't know how that worked. But yeah, so
Just
that was
shitty
that
decision
guy.
right there.
Yeah, almost 10 years ago to the day. It was August 3rd or 4th, 2003. I wrestled in that same venue. So that was kind of a cool thing, knowing that 10 years earlier I was there for my birthday and went to Raw. And it, Cornette debuted and I was happy as hell. I've been a Cornette guy forever. So it's kind of like when you meet your idols and then they turn out to be shitbags.
Yeah.
It was kind of that feeling. You know what I mean?
Or cornets, which I think is like the technical term now.
Yeah. He was very Cornette-y. Yeah, wasn't a big fan, but maybe it's something him and I can just talk about. Maybe he didn't take the money. Maybe the guy that was co-promoting with me maybe took it because he was a sketchball. So that's possible. It's hard to know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. We got another question from a fan. Brian wants to know if you could make a list of like your top 5, maybe top 10 wrestlers of all time, who would they be?
Man, putting the fucking heat on now.
Right? Just screws to you.
Number one, Shawn Michaels. Number 2, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Number 3, Chris Jericho. Number 4, Ravishing Rick Rude.
Oh.
Number 5, Ric Flair. Number 6, Arn Anderson. Number 7, Tully Blanchard. I don't know. I'm gonna give you 10. So just give me here.
It's okay. We put you on the spot.
Number 8, Bret Hart. Number 8, Owen Hart. Number 9, and probably Brian Pillman. Number 10.
All right.
That's a solid top 10 right there.
There's my Mount Rushmore right there, I guess, right?
Put
I
this
get
guy
the-
on the spot, and
I've got the best top 10 there is. It's MJF, MJF, MJF.
Listen,
I can
I'm
keep
gonna
going.
tell you-
Everybody.
I can keep going.
in the live thread, everyone, MJF.
I'm down. I'm down. And I'll tell you why. Dreamer and I co-promoted. Well, he promoted a House of Hardcore event in my hometown. I was basically his go-to guy, so I did all the promoting around town, all of that stuff. I did all of that for him. And MJF was in the main event that night. It was obviously before he went to AEW. And it was Dreamer and Billy Gunn against MJF and Alex Reynolds, who is now part of the Dark Order.
Yeah.
The long-haired guy there. And that was the main event. And I'll tell you, MJF and I got along like fucking two peas in a pod. Because we're both dickholes, right? So like we got along very good. Like he kept calling me Starman because that night, like I'm bald, but I had grown my hair like Road Warrior Hawk, right? So like the two in the back, I had the two side mohawks, and then Katie shaved stars into my hair, and then ended up putting like nail polish style stuff inside of it. So it was like really shiny with glitter. It looked awesome. And so he kept calling me Starman, like from the old Nintendo game. And yeah, that was pretty sweet. But yeah, MJF, I'm a huge fan of MJF. I think he's by far, right in wrestling, next to Jericho, he's by far the best heel for sure. Because he's always a heel. Like that's his thing.
Yes.
And
Oh,
you know, and that was a big show too, because like that's where I proposed to Katie. It was in the ring at House of Hardcore in front of like 700 people.
Oh,
So
wow.
after it was me, Bull James, and Dewey Murray versus the Spirit Squad. So it was Kenny Dykstra, Mikey, I think, the bald one now, Mikey, and then another one. It wasn't Dolph Ziggler, obviously, but it was
obviously.
those three. And then after that, I proposed to her. Thank God she said yes, because like
I was gonna say you put the pressure on, man.
yeah, like if
on
she
her
said
and
no-
you.
Yeah, I think, and that was my hometown, right? So like, I feel as if she would have said no, I would have had to turn heel and just knock her out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no other way to. There's no other way
If
to
she
go.
If she said no, she's got to go through a table. There is no other way to go at that point. It's like
I didn't know which I was gonna do. Like it didn't even cross my mind until after I asked her, and then I'm thinking it's taking longer than I expected. And
ruh-roh.
she said yes, and well, she shook her head, so I'm assuming that's yes, and she's still with me, so I would think
That's a yes then.
yeah. Mhm.
Look, if
Like,
you want that,
Congratulations, by the way. I'm glad that you found
Right.
somebody else. You cleaned your life up. Like it's all on your YouTube channel too, so I don't want to give too much away. But
Yeah,
very happy for you.
appreciate that. Yeah, we're good. You know, she's crazy, but she's my type of crazy, so
Yeah.
we'll go that route. You know,
I always say to my wife, I give her the Deadpool speech. I just say, your crazy matches my crazy. So we're perfect.
it is true, and there's most girls are crazy. Sorry, grandma, but most girls have their own crazy, and guys, we're nuts too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with her and I, we have like the same. We take like the same antidepressants, the same. We don't take anything for anxiety now because she doesn't do benzos anymore. We don't do painkillers. She's been clean for 5 years. I've been clean for 3. So
Congratulations.
I feel good like that. This pandemic screwed with me a little bit. Like I felt like I put on weight, but it was just water weight. I felt bloated. So, but I've lost 8 pounds in a week and a half. So I think I'm all right. I just stopped eating like a fucking asshole. That's basically what happened. I stopped eating like an asshole. Like pizza was so good, like 5 days in a row, but it wasn't good for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Who wouldn't want pizza 5 days in a row? I mean,
I know
I'm down.
We have one in our hometown. It's like a mom and pop one, so it's so good. The cheese is just delightful. sometimes I'll order a pizza now without any bread. I just order the cheese and the sauce, and I eat it like that because it's lower carbs. So that keeps me, because that's the one thing. When I lost all my weight, I was down to like 141 pounds, like the size of a 12-year-old anorexic girl. And but now I'm 180, right? So like I want to be happily 175 with like muscle. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. Once I can get back in the ring, everything will fall off again because that's what I've been doing for years, right? So when I always try to be ready so I don't have to get ready. That's like a thing because I hate like if somebody says, "Hey, we want to bring you to work," and then you're like, "Oh motherfucker, I look like shit. I gotta wear a singlet," and then and because I don't know, whatever. All right, what's next? Lead the charge.
We had Will, who we were talking about before the show. He was asking, "Are you a member of Retribution?"
Oh yeah. I would like to let him know that you'll have to wait and find out. Yeah, I'm just getting my retribution from not getting hired as a leprechaun.
Do we need to save that answer for when we open up our own Patreons and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, then it'll be one of those fucking super chat questions. Then we'll talk. Yeah.
And we had a Velveteen Dream question too, but I can't find it, and I don't know why you would answer that.
Well, ask away.
Let's see. Where did it go?
I saw it today, I think.
Oh yeah, you actually said I'll answer that tonight in depth. Okay, the question was, should WWE put or NXT put the Velveteen Dream controversy to bed, seeing as it now looks like he might be in line for a push with the North American title?
Okay. So I had a different answer earlier, and now I got a new answer. Now watching some of the news, like some of the, I watch What Culture, and What Culture WWE. I think Simon Miller's funny as hell. He does his ups and downs. You guys watch that?
Yeah, I've seen it once or twice.
Ups and downs of Simon. Yeah. Well,
yeah, I guess
Simon. Here's the thing. Like I told you my opinion on fucking pedophiles and predators and those people, right? I think they're disgusting. So now, if WWE did a thorough investigation and found out that Velveteen Dream was innocent and didn't really send those pictures or whatever to the underage girls, if his shit was hacked, which is possible, then I absolutely 100% think it's great, and they should just forget about it and move forward, because it was just some person trying to make up a story,
But something did come out that the chick who made the initial allegations, that was like, I was talking to these guys and they said this about him. Like, she was like, yeah, I fucking made it up for fun.
Really?
Yeah.
I missed that one.
Yeah. Okay,
I'll have to find it. I can't remember where I saw it.
Bombshell.
Yeah, thanks, Wendy.
So they're looking into that. Like, she deleted her Twitter and shit, like disappeared suddenly.
Oh yeah, that's isn't that coincidental, right? I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if
that changes everything.
If that is the case, then absolutely 100% he belongs where he's at, and they should put it to bed. Absolutely. Now, if WWE brought back Velveteen Dream for ratings, no.
Yeah.
They shouldn't put it to bed. They need to find out the truth. WWE does whatever they can do to counter program AEW, which I find kind of entertaining this next coming time when NXT has TakeOver and Dynamite's on TNT on that
on the
Saturday.
Same day.
Yeah.
That was a fuck you to them, I'm sure. You guys want to do it with with NXT. Do you realize, like, if there was no NXT on Wednesdays, that AEW would probably have 1.4, 1.5 million viewers?
Yeah. That's why I'm kind of looking forward to them going to Thursdays, even though it'll make us switch our date, because it'll just be.
Who's going to Thursday?
Dynamite is going to move to Thursdays on account of the NBA playoffs. They're going to have like NBA on Wednesday, and then Dynamite's going to go. There's going to be one Saturday, and then after that, they're going to be every Thursday for a few
Until
weeks.
basketball's over.
So it'll be
basketball.
Dynamite all on its own on a Thursday night. I'm waiting for those ratings. You know?
Those should be good. Now that's going to be. Is that going to be full time after or no?
No,
No.
after the NBA is done with, they're going to go back to Wednesday and they'll be running with NXT again. But TNT moved them to Thursday because of the NBA playoffs. Now they got the bubble and they've restarted and all that stuff. So they're going to
Okay.
cover that and then bring Dynamite back on Wednesdays. But for about 3 weeks, I think, in a row, they will be on Thursdays at 8 instead of Wednesdays. So it'll just be them. All
so
them.
that means Monday, Raw, Tuesday, Impact and Dark,
Right.
Wednesday, NXT, Thursday,
Dynamite.
Friday, SmackDown. Holy fuck. Jesus Christ. Katie's going to be super happy about all that. Oh, excuse me, hiccups. I'm a child. But yeah, I think now I'm going to answer a question that nobody asked, but I'm going to answer it because I want to get it out there to somebody to say, when people talk about the ratings and they talk about back, there were 6 million, 7 million viewers a week, with Raw and SmackDown or Raw and Nitro and all that.
Oh, yeah.
And people all the time talk about like, oh, where did all those people go? Where did those people go? Well, here's the thing. I don't think those people went anywhere. I think what happened is, yeah, some of them dropped off and they're not fans anymore. Absolutely. There's that group, and that could be a couple million. Absolutely. But people fail to realize that nowadays there's DVR. So things are being DVR'd and watched later. So that doesn't count in the ratings originally. That's not going to go up for your original. So I feel like that is a big player in why, people the numbers aren't the way they used to be, Now,
Absolutely.
I think WWE, with them losing the ratings recently, is because they're horrible. Like their stuff is trash. Like it's not entertaining at all to watch. And AEW, they've been killing NXT in the key demographic, obviously, which is the 18 to 49, which obviously is a thing, now everybody knows it. And
thank you, Chris.
But like that's the thing. But then when you have your like WWE is like, we're winning the 50 plus. Okay, those guys are going to be dead within 30 years. You know what I mean? So those people, that's not a demographic to give a shit about. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're all old and they're out of touch too, probably, right? Let's be fair. And so I just think there's so many different reasons that the ratings aren't what they were. I don't think it's just because that many wrestling fans have dropped off the planet. I don't believe that at all. I believe that this is the other reason. This is one that I thoroughly believe is a big thing. A lot of people back in 90, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, whatever, there was only cable. That's what you were watching, cable. Nowadays, everybody's on their phones, everybody's on a tablet, everybody's on a computer, something or the other.
That kind of,
and they're not watching cable. So there's more things to do when it comes to electronics. They know they can watch it afterwards if they want. They can watch the highlights. They can do whatever the hell they want where they don't have to watch the entire show on TV. So I think that has to do with the ratings as well. I feel like that's a really big thing.
No, it definitely is, because there's so many other ways to watch now than there was back then when you just had cable antenna.
That was it. You had 99 channels.
And now you have a dozen different ways to watch the same thing, and they're only really keeping track of one group of ratings. So it's not really like people fell off; they just spread out.
Absolutely. And
not as much, but
I just think that's when again, I hate to bring him up again, but it comes to Cornette. He's always like, where the hell did the other 5 million viewers go? And he's always bitching about that. And it's like, man, you've been fired from every company you've worked for. Like
twice.
Every company. Yeah. Now, like, listen, I feel what he said on NWA. I don't think he deliberately meant that in a racially motivated way at all. I don't think he's like that. He might have been in the 80s, but I don't think he's like that. You know what I mean? I don't think that was a racially motivated thing. Was it a stupid, insensitive thing to say? Absolutely.
yeah.
You can't say shit like that, you know? But especially now with the speaking out, like, there's so many people. And what do you believe? You know, obviously, like I said earlier, Joey Ryan, I believe he's a dirtbag. Absolutely believe it, because there's so many people that came forward, right? He's like in Bill Cosby land, you know what I mean? Like his shit's
Almost.
pretty on par. It, Velveteen Dream, now it's question, you know, and like I said, to answer her question, I think it was her question, right? Believe that if he's innocent, yeah, just let it go away. If he's not innocent and he actually did these things and they're just bringing him back for TV ratings, Wednesday night ratings, whatever, and just blew it off like nothing, then I think that's bullshit and it needs to be investigated thoroughly.
But it's like the same sort of thing seemed to happen with Matt Riddle in the beginning of the whole speaking out thing, where he was accused of some stuff, and WWE, and he was just coming up to SmackDown, and WWE did this whole thorough investigation. His lawyers put some things out, and eventually they came to the conclusion that, you know, these were basically false claims. So they kept him on SmackDown, and they've let him roll ever since. But with Dream, as soon as they heard, oh, he's got this going on, get him, you know. It's not like everybody is guilty in the court of social media, but at least WWE seems to do some kind of research on it, some kind of investigation.
They do, and I'll say, they're not running a sloppy shop anymore, right? I think that with the Sammy Guevara thing, like I think that was 30 days was enough. Like that was 4 years ago. He was barely 20. And he just said something stupid that people would say amongst friends in a joking manner. Like, you don't really mean that you're going to go and do that. It was stupid to say. And he knew it. Yeah. He did his training. Some people are, who the fuck died and made these people the fucking police on who should be able to come back when they do or not? You know what I mean? I think that's not for them to decide. That's like having every human, when someone dies, being able to make an opinion like, oh, you should definitely go to hell. You shouldn't be going to heaven. What the fuck? I don't know why they're allowing him up there or her up there. You know, like whose business is that, you know?
Yeah. But no, I think we said the same thing. We actually discussed it on one of our shows, and it was like, you know, on top of that, I'm pretty sure almost everyone said something at 20 that they lived to regret. I know I did. I said a lot.
Oh, yeah. Like I thought about it. I'm like, fuck, I did a lot of podcasts over the years. If there's one person that doesn't like me and remembers me just saying something that meant nothing, and then they go back and try to throw you under the bus, you're screwed forever. You know what I mean? And that's some fucking jerk off somewhere in the world said, I remember a podcast where Sammy Guevara said, first off, Sasha Banks accepted his apology.
Mm-hmm.
She put it out there. At that point, it could have just been done and gone. But, you know, Sammy's still young. He's got a ton of potential. The guy's awesome. I think he's great in the ring. He has that face you just want to punch. So he's a perfect heel.
And he's a hell of a singer.
Oh, well, yeah, God, Jesus, right, God, fuck. American Idol for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Without a doubt.
Bring that show back just for him.
Jericho's backup singer.
Yeah, I think Sammy is going to be a guy that like is around for a long time, and a guy, he does crazy stuff, he does crazy spots, but like but the difference between him and just people that do spots, like Sammy tells a story at the same time as he's doing those flips. He's telling a story in the ring, and he tells a good story. Like the one time, like he took his shoe off because his ankle was messed up or whatever. You know what I mean? That's good storytelling, you know, and he fought through with, you know, wrestling like that. So I just think there's people that they want Smoky Mountain wrestling, and that's all they want, that type of wrestling. And I love watching old Smoky Mountain, you know. WWE Network is like a fucking amazing thing. You just watch whatever you want.
Yeah, they
And
even added a bunch of the indie promotions now all out of nowhere.
yeah,
They added like
Evolve was there.
ICW and Evolve and,
I
and
think
Progress.
WXW is on there, I think. And if they have like any of their old stuff, like I used to work for Alpha a lot down in Florida for WXW. I remember one show. This is quite the entertaining story. I was booked. I somehow double booked. I have no idea how I did that because I never would do that. So I was on this show. It was a church show. It was at a church, like a social hall. And it was with a guy named Devin Nash, who played like a ripoff Kevin Nash on WCW years ago. Whatever. So yeah, it's basically as good as it sounds. And so I was booked there, and I was booked for Alpha at WXW as well. So I went and I decided I had to pick, but I had already agreed to the church show. So I went and did that one. The day of the other on the WXW show, The Rock showed up. He actually showed up on the show.
Really?
I turned down to do the other one. Yeah. I got Devin Nash. They got The Rock. How does that work?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's just bad booking.
That was very bad booking. I couldn't take any of it back.
Stupid idea, bad creative. That's all I got to say.
And I don't even think I had a good match at the church. So, and if I did, there was like 24 people. So who the hell gave a shit? But that was just me because I'm given, like, if I agree to do something, I'm going to do it, And now, don't get me wrong. If I'm running a Fight for the Mind event, and I've had it happen a couple of times where, they're booked for me, but then they get a shot with Impact or they get a shot with WWE. I'm going to tell them to go do that. Like, don't, you know what I mean? Like, who would I be to not let them go do something that might get them a job?
Yeah.
Or come work a spot show for me. I don't, it's not the right thing to do, so.
Oh yeah, but a lot of people booking shows don't see it that way. It's like, well, you have this commitment, so
you're committed to us. No, this is independent wrestling. I'm not committed to anyone.
Yeah.
You might have
what was that first word? Independent. Remember that? I'm out.
Yeah. The word independent means that it's independent. That's basically what it means. But all right, so enough of Devin Nash. I don't want to give him all the time,
Oh man, shout out to Devin Nash. Oh, we got a question from Mac. He wants to know Keith Lee, Karrion Kross, who you got?
Karrion Kross, absolutely. That guy is a beast.
I think it'd have to be at this point.
Yeah. Katie's a huge fan. She likes Scarlett. She thinks that her whole character is awesome when she comes out and sings.
Oh yeah.
And that just, and I've always been, even in Impact, I was a fan of both of them. And, they did separate things, I believe, most of the time in Impact.
Most of the time, yeah.
But together, it's good. And I'm still questioning. The one thing I do question is, why was Keith Lee opening the contract to make sure that the signature was in the right place? Like, I'm just confused on why he had to open it up to confirm that, like, he signed it. That was weird to me.
Like, wait, did I put that on the wrong line?
Yeah. I'm just gonna open. Who the hell does that? But
I think I just signed him over all the rights to my merch. Hang on.
Yeah, let me take it. Oh my God, there's a fireball in my face. Yeah. And I don't know how they did that.
Things where you're just kind of like, huh?
I was actually dumbfounded how they did it. I thought it was cool, but like, I don't know if because it's a show that's not wasn't live and it was taped in front of the recruits, if they did like a split like camera thing where they see him putting the fire thing in. I don't know, because it didn't have it in it when he signed. Yeah. So I'm not sure how they did that at all. I have no idea.
Yeah, that kind of threw me off too. I didn't get it. Like I said, I thought he went, wait, did I just sign my merch over to Karrion Kross? No, okay, we're good.
Open this up. Oh my God, there's fire.
There's fire.
This is the time that they should have named their pay-per-view NXT Great Balls of Fire.
Right? It would have been perfect.
What a shit name. God, what a shit
They
name.
couldn't use Into the Fire because NWA already
Into the Fire, yeah.
But Great Balls of Fire would have been just fine.
That was their horrible pay-per-view name a year or two ago, and that was the worst.
Oh, I know.
So bad. Who came up with that? Like that sounds like a Vince idea.
Yeah.
Because obviously Great Balls of Fire was sang by somebody from his generation. So maybe that's a Vince. That's a Vince thing. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be the guy that talks to you guys and shits on Vince, because guess what? If there wasn't a Vince, there'd be nothing else. And right now, and it wouldn't, pro wrestling wouldn't have been what it is today. And like, I wouldn't have been able to, make the money that I did over the years wrestling if there wasn't Vince McMahon, like, so he just needs to step down. Yes. Be on, put somebody in that, I don't know, knows what year it is, things like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's all. I other than that, like, I respect the guy. I think he's
It's like, you almost wonder if Triple H could do better. He
Triple
seemed
H
to do
could
okay.
absolutely do that.
Yeah.
You watch NXT? Yeah, Triple H books NXT, right? So I prefer watching NXT over WWE any day.
Oh yeah.
But I prefer AEW over everything.
Mm-hmm.
And Katie asked me why that was, and I said, I think it's because I'm so Jim Ross was the voice of my childhood, my teenage years, all my life, So when you hear him, it's an important place, something big. And Shivani was also a voice of my childhood,
So we all grew up on like Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, those guys, because we're all around
this. Is great too, and like
love
those
Taz.
guys together. I mean, and on Raw you get Tom Phillips. Is that his name?
Yeah. Byron Saxton.
Hold on, but I will say Byron Saxton's been my friend for a long time. He's a Florida guy.
So I better not say anything else.
I knew him before he was with WWE. So him and I are good guys, and he can be entertaining when they let him be. And Samoa Joe's great, but
no,
it's
Joe's
only a matter of
wonderful
before he's back in the ring. I'm hoping, because Joe's a hell of a talent.
Yeah.
So, but commentator, play-by-play and commentating, like, I'm obviously used to Cole by now because he's been there for 100 years. He still says things that aggravate the shit out of me.
Yes.
But like Tom Phillips, I can't. And I'm starting to, and I'm also that way with Mauro Ronaldo now at this point. Like, he is very smart with what he says, but he needs to settle down just a little bit. Like, he needs to bring his commentating down. Like, don't make, oh my God, a punch to the face. Okay, is that the same as a spinning power bomb to the floor? No, act excited when they do that, not when he punches them. Like,
makes sense.
That does make total sense. Like, everything you're doing is on like 15. Bring it down to like 7 or 8.
Just be at like 8 or 9, and then hit that 15 when something insane happens. Then you Mamma Mia, you gotta.
But again, like we grew up with JR, and JR was very cool, very calm until something big happened, and then it was, my God, he's broken in half. Then it went up.
That's when oh my God, it's like a car wreck on 995.
Yeah,
that's when it's big stuff. I just got done reading his book, actually, his second book. It was good. Under the Black Hat. I would recommend reading it. It's sad, like the one about his wife, the chapter about his wife passing away, that was sad. I actually talked to him in person like a week after it happened, because I was doing that Mania weekend down there, and I went to hang out with Dreamer at WrestleCon, and JR was there, and I talked. He looked sad, but he was cool, very nice guy, and I felt horrible. I mean, but he got to go with his wrestling family and feel like, instead of staying at home and thinking about what happened to his wife. So,
that was just a whole sad scenario. Like, I don't know how he managed to get through that. To be honest,
that was, and he talks very highly of her the entire book. How nice she was and how she was so supportive of everything that he did. And I think at the end of the day, like, if you don't have somebody that supports what you do, then you're not with the right person.
Absolutely.
Katie, absolutely. We have our arguments here and again, but what couple doesn't? Besides my sister and my brother-in-law, 30 years and never had one fight. That's insane. There's something weird.
I wish. No way.
Yeah. It'd be so much easier, right? But she supports me, and the fact that like she wasn't into wrestling, but she's gotten into it now where I would feel comfortable with her sitting down and you guys giving her a WWE or an AEW quiz. Like that's how much I've been able to teach her. And she's taught me, Rangers hockey the same way. So I guess that works out.
Oh, that works great.
Yeah, yeah. So that's
Hey, I'm into
basically
this. I'm into that. I'll teach you about it. Okay, I'll teach you about this. It's one hand washes the other.
one hand
That's a
wash.
relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she's and she supports me with what I do. She's the one that I was gonna step away, and then she kept me wanting to do it. And I've never, any relationship I've been in, I was married. That was the worst 2 years of my life, and she never supported me. She, told me. I remember the exact words that was the end. She's like, you know what? She goes, why don't you just give up? She goes, they've looked at you. You never got hired. They don't want you. Just give it up. And I'm not going to support you. And I said, good. So when I go to shows and come home with the money, I'm only going to support me and my son with that money. I'm not going to support you with the money from the stuff that you don't support me for. That was how that was. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Wrestling was my first love. It's always been there for me. Good times, bad times. I've hated wrestling. I've loved wrestling. I've loved to hate it. I've hated to love it. All of it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's my comfort. It's my security blanket. It's what I know. It's the one thing that I know. And the one thing that I know is always going to be there. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. That's why I do. That's why I do stuff like this. I mean, wrestling is my escape from whatever the fuck is going on.
Yeah, exactly. And, people, they say, oh, the question you always get, oh, is it fake? As I'm walking around, like, hunched over like Mick Foley. Yeah, bro, it's fake. I just like walking like this.
You guys, I hate to interrupt, but I have to get going. This was fun. I will see you guys
Oh,
around.
thank you, Grandma Wendy.
Till next time.
Yeah. Tell Jose we said hi.
Thank you for being bored by me.
Oh, no, she had a great time.
She was gone. I thought she was sleeping already. I didn't know. I hadn't heard from her. So I'm like, oh, she's sleeping.
No, we're just letting you talk, man. This is, this is our Let Shooter Talk show. We're not.
I don't really hold back on a lot of shit. I tell it like it is. And
really, I couldn't tell.
You can't tell. Yeah. And, I'm politically correct enough now where I know I have to be, because if AEW were to eventually want to even bring me in, I don't want any negative publicity. You know what I mean? Going into that, I don't need that. I don't want that.
No, that's not a good look.
No, not at all. It's not. I don't look good with that. Being like having a bad. I have a good reputation. And I'm training my students now. I'm almost the first. Obviously, can't do it because of pandemic, right? Mm-hmm. So they were 1 month out of graduating, and then the pandemic hit. So when they come back, we're gonna have one. We're gonna polish everything up, and then I'm gonna give them another month, and then I already have a second class that's gonna be coming through for that. So
nice,
awesome.
Hoping for
and the school is called Fight for the Mind as well, right? Because I forgot to include that.
Yeah, it's the Fight for the Mind Pro Wrestling Academy.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. It's there's no other wrestling school for about 5 hours the other way from where I live.
Wow.
So this is like I myself with a couple other guys are the ones that really brought wrestling to this area, and it's a hotbed for wrestling. I mean, people love it, and they just don't. It's a small town. Best places to run shows are small towns. I ran Orlando, Florida, and I sold out the National Guard Armory in Orlando with 500 people, and Kid Rock was right up the road. So it's all about how you promote things.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The Fight for the Mind 2 in Murfreesboro, you could actually watch that one on Fight TV. It's $9, $9.99, I think. Yeah, I think I went with that easy price of $9.99, and it's called.
It seems to be trendy now.
Yeah, it's Fight for the Mind 2. It's got everyone from Chase Stevens to Tracy Smothers to Tommy Dreamer to Jerry Lynn to Jim Cornette. Like I had a wicked show that one. That was a big one. But with Dr. Tom Pritchard, like I said, but I that was a big one. And then the last one, and then Bagwell was on the fourth. That was the one we brought Bagwell in for. And then the one after that, it was Shane Douglas, who ended up bringing in fucking Dominic DiNucci, which was cool, and Virgil, which was incredible.
Oh, sure it was. Sure it was.
Yeah, just randomly
Well,
there. Yeah, I had Justin Credible up here as well for meet and greet at the school.
Oh, that's cool. Wow.
And, well, he was coming up to do a shoot interview with Hannibal.
Okay.
TV. He was doing a thing. The Hannibal TV. That's I like him. Like him and I had always. I used to work for him at Great North Wrestling, and so he does a good shoot interview. So Credible did one with him, and then I had New Jack up for a meet and greet as well because New Jack and I had a match, back in 2012 maybe, and it was he talks about me on his RF video shoot. He said that it was me and another guy were the only two indie guys he liked wrestling ever. So
well, that's good. That means you don't end up like, really hurt.
Yeah,
Dead. Yes, dead. I didn't want to say it, but dead.
I gave him what I talked to Dreamer like 2 days before. I asked for some advice. He said, get your own color and just listen to what he says. You'll be good. So went in there and it was great. I mean, the whole story going into it was I was telling him that pro wrestling was better than hardcore wrestling, the whole deal. So at the beginning of the match, he out wrestled me. Side headlock takeover, arm bars, arm ringers, everything like that you would never see at a New Jack ever.
Right.
Then his music came on, and then the fork came out, then the staple gun came out, then the chain came out. Then, I mean, it was nuts. It was a bloodbath. I bled all over, and then I got to one side, and he's like, your color's gone. And I'm like, what? Like, your color's gone. I said, okay, I'll go get more. He goes, no, you don't have to. I said, yeah, follow me. So he kept beat me up, brought me back around. I found my my gimmick where it was, where I put it, and I redid it again. So I kept bleeding. And, yeah, it was... that was fun. He was very happy with it, which that's a big deal, And,
definitely. Because again, you'll live, and that's good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Right. I was just happy to do that, and it was funny because I was cutting a promo backstage for the DVD after, and as I was sitting there cutting the promo, the blood coming down, he doesn't realize I'm doing a promo, and he walks up and he like picks me up and like a bear hug and gave me a hug, and like thanked me 100 times. Yeah, that was cool.
Wow.
Like, because there's not many people that happens with, so.
Oh,
thank you. Goodbye. I'll never have to do this again. That was basically what it was. Let's never do this again. Let's quit while we're ahead.
I gotta tell you, Shooter, this is great. This has been great. We love having you on. We are definitely going to get you on again. But I think Brucey's starting to flag, and so am I. So. Yeah, not all of us can be the all-nighter, my friend.
Yeah, man, that's my gimmick. Actually, now I'm going under Sinner Shooter Storm.
Right.
Triple S. So I'm going to that. I turned heel at the last fight for the mine in front of my hometown. I punched Misery, the champion, Misery the Barbarian, in his balls. And I'm now a heel, so I'll get a title shot whenever it's back and running. Because I've never held the title, and at that company, it's my company. So most people put the belt on themselves, but I won't do that. I don't want to be that guy, not yet.
So you're kind of like the EVPs in AEW, like, nah, I can't do that. Like,
yeah, you just go out there and do your stuff. I don't need to be in the main event scene, but then it made sense because the Barbarian and I have been friends for years, so everybody knows. So I punched him in the pee-pee, and that was that. Yeah, so we shall see.
But yeah, I appreciate you doing this. We will definitely have you back again. And I'm going to give you a minute before we wrap things up and just tell everybody where they can find you on social media, YouTube, and everything. So in case somebody's watching that doesn't know, they can just come and click on everything the center when we're done.
Yeah. You can go, you can find me at my on my fan page on Facebook. It's Shooter Storm Wrestler Entertainer. Find me there. You just like it. I'm trying to get up to about 1,000 likes. I'm at close to 800, I think, I'm there right now. Also, want to follow me on Twitter. That's at Shooter Storm. I'm trying to get to 1,000 there as well. I'm close to 900 on there. And YouTube, Headlocks and Hauntings. That's for it's my girl and my page where we do paranormal investigating. We also do whatever the big craze is, whether now it's Randonautica, things like that. I also do my own podcast, which is called Wrestling with ADHD. So anybody that listened all the way through here knows that's why it's called Wrestling with ADHD. And you're going to see a whole bunch of different stuff on there. Just posted footage of her and I at the Rangers game at MSG right before the pandemic hit.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, just little things like that we'll put up there. So you can find us on there. After it's Headlocks and Hauntings right now. So if you subscribe like a week down the road, it'll be under Together with ADHD. But for now, Headlocks and Hauntings is what it is. So, and if anybody out there wants to see me Jericho, then hashtag Jericho Shooter Storm, and hopefully we can get that rocking and rolling.
Yeah, we're gonna be spreading that. Don't worry.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Because we want to see that.
Absolutely. So I do appreciate you guys. Sorry I talked your ear off, but
oh no, we appreciate it too, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Brucey,
And,
do you have enough left in that high class, majestic
Absolutely.
bearded body to do our social medias?
Absolutely. This is the only reason why you guys keep me around.
Pretty
Even
much.
though, like
I can't grow that beard, so.
So, all right, we got social media. We're everywhere. So look, we're not live. Actually, we're live on YouTube, so you can find us on YouTube at Fox M Productions. We are TRWT, or Top Rope Wrestling Talk. We are the flagship show. On the page, there's a couple other shows on there. There's Mutant Rejects, Drunk Upon a Time. We also have a special that we did, Drunk Upon a Top Rope. You can also find us on Facebook at Top Rope Wrestling Talk. We are a publicly traded group. That means we're open, and anyone can see what we post. Come on in, like it, join our threads. Try to win a group title.
I got 16 of them bitches already, so somebody's got to catch up to me eventually.
Hey, I'm getting close.
I've tied the Nature Boy, not John Cena, the Nature Boy.
That's good. What, real quick, let me ask before I go. What is that? Do you ask wrestling questions or what?
Oh, pay-per-views. We do pick'ems with tiebreakers and that kind of thing, and we keep track of all the answers. And at the end of the night, we crown champions
on whoever scores
from
the most points.
Whatever the promotion is. Like we have AEW titles, we have WWE titles. We even had MLW at one point.
I wish I would have known this last year on Money in the Bank. I would have gotten to that draw.
Hey, maybe you'll have some insider information down the line. You can just come back in. Oh, there's the title form. It's just click a lot of stuff.
Give me my belt. Yeah. All right, guys. I do appreciate you guys very much, and I'll make sure to plug this as well and help get your names out there as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You got it, guys. Thank you much, and we'll talk soon. Okay.
All right, sounds good, brother.
Definitely, brother.
All right. Bye bye. I don't know how to hit. I'm gonna try.
He's giving it his college try.
Oh my god, I'm still on the fucking thing. I can hear it. I can still hear things. Where in the fuck?
Here, hang on. Let me see if I can help you. Oh, there it goes. Okay. All right. So you got the Facebook, Brucey.
You can also find our merch page at TRWT Merch on Facebook. Come in, buy your shirts. Dom's got the newest shirt logo. You've seen the other logos. We've got our mugs. We got everything. Then see if my tired ass can do this. You can find us on Instagram. There it is. It's at the underscore
at top
at underscore top underscore rope underscore wrestling
underscore talk. He's
Yeah,
so
underscore
tired.
talk. Oh, dude, I am so whooped.
I feel you, dude.
Yes, and I think that's it. I think I hit
But
it
yeah,
all.
it's at top underscore rope underscore wrestling underscore talk. And you can find all our podcasts at anchor.fm/TRWT. We are everywhere podcasts are enjoyed, including iHeartRadio, Apple, the whole nine. Everywhere you can listen to one, we are. And that's our show for this week. I want to once again thank Shooter Storm for coming on and giving us so many great stories and so many great laughs. And we will probably see you guys next Friday, because Thursday will be no.
No,
We'll be
this
back.
Saturdays. Is it
Yeah,
this
we'll be back
Saturday?
either. We're gonna be back either Thursday or Friday to preview Dynamite and Takeover all in one. It's gonna be a great show.
Yeah.
But we'll be back for that either Thursday or Friday. Just gotta check the schedules. Like I'm as tired as Percy right now, so I don't want to fuck it up. But we will be back one of those days. We'll give you previews of everything. We'll break everything down. We'll have a good time like we always do. So until next week, everybody stay safe out there. Wear a mask. Don't be a Loki. And of course, as Wendy says, stay fresh, cheese bags.
Yes, stay fresh.